What's up, fight fans? Coach Jason is back to talk about the Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight. Just so you know, I've been away on vacation for like a week, so I didn't think I actually was going to see the fight, but luckily I was. I was on a cruise ship, and it was playing on our international television at the time, and boom, got lucky to be able to see the fight. So happy about that. I caught it literally as Tank was walking out, so perfect timing. Someone called me through the room and said, "Hey, fight's playing, turn it on." So definitely was happy about that. If you can't tell, I got a little cold. I've been out and about between hot temperatures and cool places, and that kind of caught up with me. So bear with me here. But anyway, so the fight happened. It was very highly anticipated. Two undefeated fighters and basically in their prime. Some would say maybe a little early in their careers, but I would say still a good fight to have right at this point in time. So as we all know, at this point, the fight ended in the seventh round via TKO by a Tank body shot to Ryan. Left, pretty much a left hook, countering a left hook from a southpaw orthodox position. So watching the fight, obviously the way I view fights is always from a very technical standpoint as a person who is an enthusiast in boxing, who teaches boxing to the everyday person and has, had my own journey through boxing as a failed amateur and a, still enthusiast. Like I still love it. I still do it. I still train, myself. So I'll always look at the details of always trying to get better on how things work, why things work. So looking at this fight, it was a great example of small man versus tall man, the reach advantage, the power shots, the opposite stance, orthodox versus southpaw. All of that stuff was there. Let's break it down. Right off the bat, you got to say that Tank fought a very smart fight. I don't think he gets enough credit for fighting intelligently. He's known to be a knockout artist, which he does. He has a lot of knockouts in his career. But I think how he gets his knockouts is what matters. And often in his fights, especially in the last couple of years as he moved up in weight classes, he's always been the undersized guy in the fight and still gets knockouts. And so how he does it is what matters. He does it by using the height to his advantage. What some would say is a disadvantage, but he uses it to his advantage. In this fight, the key to Ryan winning was going to be left hook and straight right as an orthodox fighter. And we all know he's very good with his left hook to the point that maybe it overshadows his right hand too much. And the left hook was probably going to be the only weapon he was going to try to use. And even if he was coached by his trainer to do otherwise, he would probably default back to his natural instinct to use his left hook, which he did. But what it proved is that the left hook wasn't going to be as effective against a shorter fighter because it was going to be easy to duck it. And if he didn't have a plan B for that, or didn't follow the plan B that was given to him, he wasn't going to be successful. Because obviously I think there were times where the left hook could have been followed by a right uppercut or a straight right down. And I don't think that ever really happened much. And you've seen that in the second round, the knockdown came because the left hook was ducked. And then Tank came back with his southpaw left hook, which traditionally you would see as a straight left. But he was close enough because of the hook, because he fought in the pocket with Ryan, that he was able to throw it as an overhand kind of hook towards Ryan's face. And that's the thing about Tank, is that he uses his height as a way to close the gap because he does things the right way to get there. He uses footwork to throw his opponent off, because he uses it in two ways. One, in round one, as you saw, he just kind of went side to side motions. He didn't stay in one place long, and he was able to kind of keep Ryan from getting set. So even if he wanted to be aggressive, he probably wasn't going to be able to throw those shots as hard as he could because he's not set. His feet are not set enough for it to really work. And so that was key. And then secondly, when he was in the pocket with Ryan, when shots were coming his way, he would just kind of make a very sharp angle to the left or right, depending on which direction he wanted to go in. Typically to his right, to be out of range, but still not run away. He would just change the direction of the action. So he went from here per se, and he would just change the angle and force Ryan to have to make a turn and not be in his comfort zone at the moment while Tank was already set in his spot. And that's key because it makes Ryan off balance and it allows Tank to be first after that sequence, which he wasn't always. And that's the thing about Tank. He gave up a lot in terms of punch count. He let Ryan kind of dictate the pace somewhat in terms of how many punches were thrown, but they just weren't effective at the end of the day. So that's the difference, is that although Ryan threw more, they weren't really effective because he wasn't throwing the hardest punches, and he didn't get knockdowns. The knockdown came, the effective punches. Obviously, the TKO came in the 7th, so that's where things kind of fell apart for him. I think another key aspect. I got notes right here, by the way. So I'm a note guy. So you know that I'm taking it seriously. I come with paper. So another key thing is Tank as a southpaw jammed up Ryan's left jab, and I think that happened more as the fight went on because Ryan started the fight using his jab very effectively and tried to set the pace using his jab so he could probably get off the other shots, probably shoot the hook off the jab. But a good southpaw fighter knows if you jam the lead, you force them into doing other punches, and that, for him was going to be the hook and the straight right if it came. And so that means you take a piece of the board off the table, if you will. If you jam his lead hand, because your lead hand and his are lined up as a southpaw orthodox, you basically take that piece off the table as a player in the sport. And if you take that away, it takes less things to worry about in the first place. And that was a very, very smart move for Tank to do that, because then he could get more comfortable getting closer to Ryan, which eventually got him that knockdown, and which eventually got him the TKO body shot by getting closer. Tank was slowly working himself closer and closer to Ryan as he figured out the pieces of the game and obviously took that lead hand off the table so that he could work with limited pieces and know how to deal with them. And that's the key to the fight. So, great fight. Kudos to both guys for actually making it happen in their prime, young in their careers. Who's to say they won't meet again? They still got plenty of time left in their careers. And you never know with this 130, 135, 140, division kind of shaking up right now. Who knows what's next? So, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to call it here. And if you got any comments, if you saw it, what did you think of it? Did you see anything I didn't see? Leave me a comment. All right, peace, y'all.